Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Girard-Perregaux Vintage 1945 XL carbon fiber chronograph. You can see this oversized Girard-Perregaux manufacture movement chronograph and purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time to see our full listing for this watch, with additional accessories included, high resolution images, and naturally full pricing details. Now you can see on my wrist 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference. There is a reason why this watch carries the moniker XL. Although inspired by a 1945 reference that lends its name to the entire vintage 1945 line, this watch is arguably a modern oversized sports watch within the essential proportions and lines of that historic antecedent. Now consider that the watch across the broad of the case from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock measures 36 millimeters, not including crown or chronograph pushers. In thickness, it has its most petite and manageable dimension, only 13 millimeters thick with a stepped bezel and sloped case flank. You can wear this one fairly easily under a tighter sleeve or formal cuff, so no issues there, but the watch shows its span with a 54 millimeter lug-to-lug measurement that simply straddles the wrist. No matter how large, this watch is going to give you all of the wrist presence you want. Although, because of the camber of the case, and you can see that to good effect at this angle, the watch wraps itself around a smaller wrist. I'll show that to better effect by popping open the single fold deployant stainless steel clasp, but the watch is effectively curved, and impressively, so is the sapphire over the dial. Not only a non-round sapphire, but cambered from top to bottom. That's a very impressive piece of fabrication. And you'll also see that the watch itself is shaped to fit a human-sized wrist, so even though it is an XL, you don't need an XL wrist to wear it well. The stainless steel case features gorgeous contrasting finish. You can see satin and unusually vertical satin finish on the flanks. There's also just enough polish about the bezel to give the watch a luster and a little bit of a differentiation. Metallurgy used to good effect here to make the watch glint like jewelry without actually using any. You'll also note that the strap is very substantial, tapered and integrated. It nicely closes the gap to the flank of the case so there's no daylight showing, and it also features, and I'll show you this to good effect, relief channels underneath to allow sweat, grit, moisture to escape on a hot day. This watch, although not a pure sports watch, is certainly sporting in intent, and it's the kind of watch you would wear for a day at the beach, if not exactly for a day in the water at the beach. Now you'll also note that the deployant, beautifully polished stainless steel, is a single fold deployant, so you can't accidentally drop this rather sizable and weighty watch when donning it or taking it off. That's the beauty of a deployant, and when closed, this one's especially attractive because it maintains the low profile and traditional aesthetic of a pin buckle. The strap itself is very supple, natural vulcanized rubber, feels great on the wrist, and it looks just as good. Now, the namesake of this watch, of course, is the carbon fiber on the dial. More sporting in intent than most of the vintage 1945s, this one looks like it belongs trackside, so perhaps those who prefer the vintage lines and the modernist aesthetic have found their perfect watch right here, and there's certainly no faulting the quality of the material or the finish. Now the watch is a success from a functional standpoint because with fully loomed broadsword hands at center and highly stylized and immense loomed Arabic numerals, this is an easy watch to read whether in broad daylight at Monaco or in the middle of the night at Circuit de la Sarthe in Le Mans. This is a rather motorsport oriented limited edition of 999, unusual in its size and detailing for the vintage 1945 line, but that's precisely why it's a limited edition. This watch is truly exceptional in the strictest sense of the term. Now on the case back, you'll see Girard-Perregaux's own in-house caliber 3370 63 jewel 46-hour automatic chronograph movement. Now it has a number of virtues. In addition to the fact that it is built in-house, the one element that is not, the Dubois-Dupraz chronograph module, features a vertical clutch, so watch the seconds hand of the chronograph in red. When I start, there's absolutely no jump as there would be with a horizontal clutch. Try that on a Patek Philippe 57 and you will be gravely disappointed. But the 5070 Patek doesn't have the vertical clutch, which has additional virtues in addition to smoothness, namely the fact that there's no additional wear and tear on the movement when you leave a vertical clutch running. So you can simply have center seconds to match center minutes and hours if you prefer to simply gaze upon the watch at a glance and not have to refer to a constant second subdial at 3 o'clock. Now the watch has additional virtues. Convenience comes in the form of a quick set for the date so that If the watch should run down or encounter an irregular length month, you can rapidly reset the date to correct. And when you pull the crown to extremity, the watch does feature hacking seconds or stop seconds, so you can synchronize precisely to a known accurate reference time. If you like the look of the vintage 1945 line, an icon of Girard-Perregaux since 1995, but you want something a little bit bigger, bolder, and sportier, you definitely need to consider this limited edition of $999. It's the exception, perhaps, but a beautiful one. See the Girard-Perregaux Vintage 1945 XL carbon fiber chronograph and purchase it on our website.